The art of being invincible is not about becoming untouchable by the world. It is about becoming unbreakable within yourself. Life will test every human being. Pain will arrive without permission. Failure will appear even after honest effort. People will disappoint you. Circumstances will collapse. Time will challenge your patience. None of this can be avoided. What can be mastered is how deeply these experiences control you. An invincible person is not someone who never cries. It is someone who does not quit while crying. An invincible person is not fearless. It is someone who moves forward despite fear. Strength is not loud. Power is not aggressive. True invincibility is calm. It is silent. It is steady. Many people spend their lives chasing external security. They seek money to feel safe, titles to feel respected, relationships to feel complete, validation to feel worthy. But anything that comes from outside can be taken away. When your strength depends on the external world, you remain fragile. Invincibility begins the moment you decide that your inner state will no longer be controlled by external chaos. This book will teach you how to build that inner state, not through fantasy or false positivity, but through discipline, awareness, and truth. This book is written for those who want to rise above emotional weakness, mental confusion, and spiritual exhaustion. It is written for those who want to live with clarity, courage, and consistency. It is written for those who want to become stable in an unstable world. Invincibility is not gifted. It is trained. The foundation of invincibility. Every strong structure requires a foundation. Without it, the tallest building collapses. Without a strong inner foundation, the smartest mind breaks under pressure. The foundation of invincibility is self-responsibility. Most people suffer not because life is unfair, but because they refuse to accept ownership of their responses. They blame circumstances, they blame people, they blame fate. Blame gives temporary emotional relief but permanent weakness. An invincible individual understands one powerful truth. You cannot control what happens to you, but you can always control how you respond. Consider two people facing the same failure. One becomes bitter. He complains. He waits for rescue. The other becomes curious. He studies the failure. He adapts. He grows. The event was identical. The outcome was shaped by mindset. Invincibility is built the moment you stop asking why this happened to me and start asking what is this teaching me. A young student fails an important exam. One version of that student decides he is not intelligent enough. He avoids effort. His confidence erodes. Another version decides he lacked strategy, discipline, or guidance. He corrects his approach. He improves. The failure becomes fuel, not a verdict. Life does not reward talent alone. It rewards resilience. Mental toughness is trained, not inherited. Many believe mental toughness is a personality trait. This is incorrect. Mental toughness is a skill. Skills are learned through repetition. Athletes are not born disciplined. Soldiers are not born calm under pressure. Surgeons are not born precise. They train under controlled stress until their nervous system learns stability. Your mind works the same way. If you avoid discomfort, your tolerance for discomfort decreases. If you face controlled difficulty, your capacity expands. An invincible mind is built by intentionally choosing what is hard today so that tomorrow becomes easier. Waking up early when you do not feel like it. Speaking truth when silence feels safer. Continuing effort when motivation disappears. These actions are small, but they rewire identity. You become what you repeatedly do. There was a man who decided to rebuild his life after financial collapse. He did not wait for motivation. Every morning, he woke at the same time. He exercised lightly. He read daily. He applied for work consistently. Some days he felt hopeless. He continued anyway. Months later, opportunities appeared. But the real victory was internal. He no longer feared instability because he trusted his discipline. Invincibility grows when you trust yourself. Emotional mastery is power. Emotions are not enemies. They are signals. But when emotions become dictators, they destroy clarity. An invincible person feels anger but does not act blindly. Feels sadness but does not surrender identity. Feels fear but does not freeze. Most regrets are born from emotional impulsivity. A single angry message can destroy years of reputation. A moment of uncontrolled desire can damage lifelong trust. A temporary emotional collapse can end a promising path. Invincibility is emotional delay. The ability to pause before reacting. There is immense power in the pause. When insulted, the invincible person pauses. When disappointed, he pauses. When tempted, he pauses. In that pause lies choice. In choice lies freedom. A leader once faced public humiliation. He was mocked openly. Instead of responding immediately, he remained silent. Days later, he addressed the situation calmly with clarity. His restraint elevated his respect. His silence spoke louder than anger ever could. You do not need to react to everything you feel. Mastery begins when emotions serve your values, not the other way around. Pain as a teacher. Pain is unavoidable. Suffering is optional. Pain enters every life. Loss, illness, rejection, failure. What defines you is how you interpret pain. Some people allow pain to harden them. They become bitter, defensive, closed. Others allow pain to refine them. They become wise, compassionate, strong. Pain carries information. Physical pain teaches protection. Emotional pain teaches boundaries. Mental pain teaches misalignment. Spiritual pain teaches purpose. An invincible individual listens to pain instead of running from it. A woman faced repeated rejection in her career. Each rejection wounded her confidence. Instead of quitting, she analyzed patterns. She improved communication. She refined skill. Years later, she succeeded not because rejection disappeared, but because she learned from it. Pain either trains you or traps you. The difference is awareness. Chapter 1. Identity and Inner Strength. Identity is your strongest weapon. Before the world can break you, it must first define you. Most people allow others to shape their identity. Society labels them. Circumstances name them. Past mistakes shame them. Slowly they begin to live inside a definition they did not choose. An invincible person defines himself consciously. Identity is not what you say once. It is what you reinforce daily through action. If you see yourself as weak, every challenge confirms it. If you see yourself as disciplined, every obstacle becomes training. Many people wait to feel confident before acting. Invincible people act in alignment with the identity they are building. Confidence follows action, not the opposite. A young professional enters a room full of senior people. He feels small. Instead of shrinking, he asks thoughtful questions. He listens attentively. He contributes honestly. He behaves like someone who belongs. Over time, he becomes someone who belongs. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your identity. Decide who you are becoming and let your behavior prove it. The discipline of silence. Silence is one of the most misunderstood forms of strength. Weak people speak to be noticed. Strong people speak when necessary. An invincible person knows when to remain silent. Silence protects energy. Silence preserves dignity. Silence allows observation. Many conflicts grow because of unnecessary words. Many regrets exist because of emotional speech. Silence creates space between stimulus and response. In that space, wisdom is born. A leader once faced false accusations. He did not defend himself immediately. He continued to perform with integrity. Over time, truth became visible without explanation. His silence carried more authority than any argument. Not every insult deserves an answer. Not every opinion deserves attention. Not every battle deserves participation. Silence is not weakness. It is control. Confidence without noise. True confidence does not announce itself. It is felt, not heard. Loud confidence seeks validation. Quiet confidence already knows its value. An invincible person does not rush to prove himself. He allows results to speak. He allows time to reveal character. A skilled craftsman does not shout about his skill. He works. His work speaks for him. In the same way, your consistency will always outshine your words. Confidence grows when you keep promises to yourself. Small promises kept daily build unshakable self-trust. Say less. Do more. Let presence replace performance. Chapter 2. Discipline, the architecture of invincibility. Discipline is the difference between who you are now and who you are capable of becoming. Talent can open a door, but discipline decides how far you walk after entering. Motivation is emotional and temporary. Discipline is structural and permanent. An invincible life is not built on how you feel, but on what you do consistently. Most people wait for the right mood to act. They wait to feel inspired to work. They wait to feel confident to speak. They wait to feel strong to face difficulty. This waiting keeps them average. Invincible people understand a hard truth. Action creates feeling, not the opposite. Discipline is the ability to act correctly, even when the mind resists. It is choosing long-term strength over short-term comfort. Every human being feels resistance. The difference is not the presence of resistance, but the response to it. A student wakes early to study. His body wants sleep. His mind suggests delay. He studies anyway. That single act seems small, but repeated daily, it changes his identity. He becomes someone who obeys intention rather than impulse. Discipline is identity in motion, the daily battle within. The greatest battle you will ever fight is not with people, circumstances, or systems. It is the battle between your higher intention and your lower comfort. Your lower self seeks ease, distraction, and avoidance. Your higher self seeks growth, mastery, and meaning. Every day you choose which voice to obey. An invincible person does not silence the lower voice. He simply does not let it lead. There will be days when discipline feels heavy, when effort feels unrewarded, when progress feels invisible. These days are decisive. Anyone can act when results are visible. Only the disciplined act when nothing seems to change. A man begins exercising after years of neglect. Weeks pass with little visible difference. His energy improves slowly. His confidence quietly increases. If he quits early, he returns to weakness. If he continues, the transformation eventually becomes undeniable. Discipline works quietly before it works visibly. Consistency beats intensity. Many people confuse intensity with progress. They work hard for a short period, then collapse. They push aggressively, then disappear. This creates cycles of hope and disappointment. Invincibility is built through consistency, not extremes. A small action done daily is more powerful than a massive effort done occasionally. Reading 10 pages daily builds wisdom. Exercising 20 minutes daily builds health. Writing 1 page daily builds books. Saving small amounts daily builds wealth. Consistency builds trust with yourself. Every time you keep a commitment, your mind learns that your word matters. Self-respect grows naturally. Inconsistent behavior damages self-trust. Each broken promise weakens identity. An invincible person chooses sustainable discipline over dramatic effort. Structure creates freedom. Many believe discipline limits freedom. In reality, discipline creates freedom. Without discipline, your life is controlled by moods, urges, and external demands. With discipline, your time, energy, and focus become organized. Structure removes decision fatigue. When routines are set, you do not debate whether to act. You simply act. A disciplined morning routine creates mental clarity for the day. A disciplined evening routine protects rest and recovery. A disciplined work block increases productivity while reducing stress. Invincibility requires systems, not willpower. Willpower is unreliable. Systems are dependable. Create systems that support your goals. Fixed sleep times, scheduled learning, protected focus hours, movement routines, reflection practices. When structure supports you, discipline becomes easier. The pain of discipline versus the pain of regret. There are two types of pain in life: the pain of discipline and the pain of regret. The pain of discipline is temporary and constructive. The pain of regret is permanent and corrosive. Discipline hurts while you are doing it. Regret hurts every time you remember what you avoided. An invincible person consciously chooses the pain that builds rather than the pain that destroys. Years later, you will not regret waking early. You will not regret learning. You will not regret self-control. You will regret procrastination, neglect, and avoidance. Pain is unavoidable. Choose the pain that serves you. Discipline in isolation. True discipline appears when no one is watching. Public discipline is reputation. Private discipline is character. An invincible person works even when unseen, trains when unpraised, learns when unnoticed. This creates inner pride not dependent on validation. A writer writes even without readers. A student studies even without exams. A leader prepares even without recognition. What you do alone shapes who you become publicly. Self-discipline is self-respect in action. Breaking the cycle of excuses. Excuses are comforting lies we tell ourselves to avoid discomfort. They protect ego but sabotage growth. Common excuses sound reasonable. I am tired, I am busy, I will start tomorrow, I need motivation, I need perfect conditions. An invincible person recognizes excuses instantly and replaces them with responsibility. Busy people still act. Tired people still act. Unmotivated people still act. Progress belongs to those who act despite imperfect conditions. Perfection is the enemy of progress. Start where you are. Use what you have. Do what you can. Repeat. Discipline is not punishment. Many associate discipline with harshness. True discipline is not self-hatred, it is self-care. You discipline yourself because you value your potential. You structure your life because you respect your future. An undisciplined life appears free, but slowly collapses into chaos, anxiety, and regret. A disciplined life appears restrictive, but gradually expands into confidence, peace, and control. Discipline protects you from future suffering. The disciplined mind under pressure. Pressure reveals discipline. When stress rises, undisciplined habits collapse. Disciplined systems remain stable. An invincible person trains discipline in calm times, so it holds during storms. Under pressure, he returns to basics. Breath, structure, action, focus. He does not panic because he has rehearsed consistency. Discipline is preparation for adversity. Daily rituals of invincibility. Invincibility is not built through rare heroic acts. It is built through daily rituals. A moment of silence each morning to center the mind. Physical movement to energize the body. Learning to sharpen the mind. Reflection to align behavior. Rest to restore strength. Rituals create rhythm. Rhythm creates stability. Stability creates power. When life becomes chaotic, rituals become anchors. An invincible person never abandons basics. Discipline as self-leadership. To lead others, you must first lead yourself. Self-leadership requires discipline, direction, boundaries, standards. An invincible person sets personal standards and honors them regardless of convenience. He does not negotiate with weakness. He does not dramatize effort. He simply leads himself daily. This quiet leadership attracts respect naturally. The reward of discipline. The reward of discipline is not applause. It is inner peace. The disciplined person sleeps without guilt, moves without hesitation, decides without fear. He trusts himself because he has proven reliability to himself. This self-trust is the core of invincibility. When you know you will act correctly, regardless of mood, circumstances lose power over you. If you want me to continue with Chapter 3, Pressure, Adversity, and the Unbreakable Mind. Pressure is not the enemy of human strength. It is the environment where strength is revealed. A life without pressure produces comfort but never power. Every meaningful transformation in history has been shaped under pressure. Every resilient individual has been tested by adversity. The difference between those who break and those who rise is not luck or privilege. It is perception, training, and response. An invincible mind is not built by avoiding pressure. It is built by understanding it. Most people fear pressure because it exposes weakness. They avoid responsibility because responsibility demands growth. They escape challenge because challenge removes excuses. But pressure is not designed to destroy you. It is designed to refine you. The same pressure that crushes one person sharpens another. The difference lies in mental framing. Understanding pressure. Pressure is simply demand exceeding comfort. It appears when expectations rise, responsibilities increase, or uncertainty enters. Pressure appears during exams, interviews, leadership, financial struggle, illness, loss, and transition. Pressure is not personal. It does not target you. It visits everyone. When you treat pressure as a threat, your nervous system panics. When you treat pressure as training, your mind stabilizes. An invincible person interprets pressure as preparation. A young doctor entering emergency duty feels intense pressure. Lives depend on him. Mistakes matter. If he focuses on fear, he collapses. If he focuses on protocol, training, and presence, he performs. Pressure forces precision. Pressure does not remove ability. It reveals readiness. Adversity is a sculptor. Adversity shapes character the way fire shapes steel. Without heat, steel remains soft. With controlled heat, it becomes strong. Adversity arrives in many forms. Rejection, failure, betrayal, delay, illness, poverty, isolation, uncertainty. None of these are signs of weakness. They are invitations to develop strength. An invincible person does not ask why adversity exists. He asks how to grow through it. A man loses his job unexpectedly. One response is despair, identity collapse, and resentment. Another response is recalibration, learning, and redirection. Both feel pain, only one builds power. Adversity is not an interruption of life. It is life educating you. The mind under stress. Under stress, the mind narrows. Vision shortens. Emotion intensifies. Decision-making becomes reactive. This is where many people self-sabotage. An invincible mind is trained to slow down under stress. Slowing down does not mean delaying action. It means stabilizing internal state before acting. The first discipline under pressure is breath. Calm breathing signals safety to the nervous system. It restores clarity. The second discipline is focus. Bring attention to the immediate controllable task, not the entire problem. The third discipline is structure. Return to basics. Protocols, routines, principles. When chaos rises, return to fundamentals. A pilot facing turbulence does not panic. He follows procedure. Training takes over. This is invincibility in action. Emotional resilience. Pressure often triggers emotion. Fear, anger, shame, frustration, helplessness. These emotions are natural. Suppressing them creates internal damage. Obeying them creates external damage. The invincible approach is acknowledgement without surrender. Feel fear but do not freeze. Feel anger but do not explode. Feel sadness but do not quit. Emotions are weather, not identity. An athlete loses an important competition. Emotion floods in. Disappointment, regret, embarrassment. He allows the feeling. Then he studies performance, adjusts training, and returns stronger. Emotion becomes data, not direction. Resilience is the ability to feel deeply without losing direction. The role of pain. Pain under adversity is inevitable. What matters is the meaning assigned to pain. Pain with purpose strengthens. Pain without meaning destroys. An invincible person assigns meaning intentionally. This pain is making me wiser. This setback is building patience. This loss is refining values. This pressure is testing commitment. Meaning transforms suffering into strength. History honors those who endured pain with dignity and direction. Their pain was not wasted because it shaped purpose. Isolation and inner strength. Adversity often isolates. When times are difficult, support may disappear. Applause fades. People distance themselves. This isolation can break weak foundations. It can also awaken inner strength. An invincible person learns to stand alone without becoming lonely. Solitude becomes a training ground. Reflection deepens. Dependency dissolves. Self-trust grows. Many great thinkers, leaders, and creators were shaped in isolation. Their clarity emerged away from noise. Isolation does not mean rejection. It often means preparation. Do not fear being alone. Fear losing yourself in crowds. Mental toughness through repetition. Strength under pressure is not built in one moment. It is trained through repeated exposure to manageable stress. Voluntary discomfort builds involuntary resilience. Cold mornings, early effort, disciplined schedules, honest self-evaluation. These small stresses train the mind to remain steady. An invincible person does not wait for crisis to build strength. He trains daily. When adversity arrives, his nervous system recognizes challenge, not chaos. Prepared minds remain calm. The story you tell yourself. Under pressure, the story you tell yourself becomes decisive. I cannot handle this weakens response. This is difficult but manageable strengthens response. Self-talk shapes physiology, posture, and action. An invincible person trains constructive internal dialogue. He replaces panic with presence. Blame with responsibility. Hopelessness with strategy. The voice inside you should be a coach, not a critic. Language shapes endurance. Failure without identity, collapse. Adversity often includes failure. Failure does not define you unless you accept it as identity. I failed is a fact. I am a failure is a lie. An invincible person separates outcome from identity. He evaluates behavior, not worth. This allows learning without shame and correction without collapse. Failure becomes information, not condemnation. Pressure reveals values. Adversity strips illusion. Under pressure, values surface. Some compromise integrity for relief. Others protect principles despite cost. Invincibility requires value clarity. Know what you will not sacrifice, even under pressure. Reputation, convenience, comfort, approval. These often crumble under stress. Character remains. An invincible person chooses long-term integrity over short-term escape. Calm as dominance. True power under pressure is calm. Calm does not mean absence of urgency. It means control within urgency. People trust calm leaders. Calm parents. Calm professionals. Calm stabilizes environments. An invincible person becomes a point of calm in chaos. This presence alone is leadership. Calm is trained, not inherited. Recovery after adversity. Adversity consumes energy. Recovery restores strength. An invincible person respects recovery. Rest, reflection, learning, reconnection. Ignoring recovery leads to burnout, not strength. Balance intensity with restoration. Recovery is not weakness. It is maintenance. The quiet victory. Most victories under pressure are invisible. Not quitting, not reacting, not compromising. Continuing quietly. These victories shape identity. You may not receive recognition, but you gain inner authority. That authority cannot be taken. The unbreakable mind. An unbreakable mind does not resist reality, it adapts to it. It bends without breaking, learns without bitterness, endures without losing self. Pressure will visit again. Adversity will return. This is life. But each time you respond with awareness, discipline, and purpose, you become harder to break. Invincibility is not immunity from storms. It is mastery within storms. If you want. Chapter 4. Loneliness, Self-Mastery, and Inner Completeness. Loneliness is one of the most misunderstood human experiences. Many people treat it as a flaw, a failure, or a sign of inadequacy. They rush to escape it through noise, relationships, distractions, and validation. Yet loneliness is not always emptiness. Often it is an invitation. An invincible person does not fear loneliness. He learns from it. Loneliness appears when external connection fades. Self-mastery appears when internal connection deepens. The difference between suffering and strength is not whether you are alone, but how you relate to yourself when you are. Most people are not afraid of being alone. They are afraid of meeting themselves without distraction. The difference between loneliness and solitude. Loneliness is the feeling of absence. Solitude is the presence of self. The same physical condition can feel like pain or power, depending on awareness. A person surrounded by people can feel deeply lonely if he lacks inner connection. Another person alone in a quiet room can feel complete if he is aligned internally. An invincible person converts loneliness into solitude. Solitude allows clarity. It removes performance. It removes masks. It reveals truth. In solitude you hear your real thoughts. You notice your real fears. You recognize your real desires. This can be uncomfortable. But discomfort is the doorway to self-mastery. Avoiding solitude delays growth. The addiction to external validation. Many people depend on others to feel real. Likes, messages, approval, attention, praise. Without it they feel invisible. This dependency creates fragility. An invincible person values connection but does not depend on validation for self-worth. He enjoys company without losing himself. He accepts silence without panic. When your sense of value comes from outside you, surrender control. When it comes from within you, gain freedom. A young creator stops receiving attention after early success. One response is desperation and self-doubt. Another response is refinement, patience, and internal alignment. The second builds longevity. Validation should be appreciated, not required. Standing alone without becoming cold. Self-mastery does not mean emotional detachment. It means emotional sovereignty. An invincible person remains warm without becoming dependent, connected without becoming needy, compassionate without losing boundaries. He does not isolate to avoid pain. He chooses solitude to understand himself. He can be alone without bitterness. He can connect without losing center. This balance is rare and powerful. Loneliness as a teacher. Loneliness reveals what distraction hides. It shows unresolved wounds, unhealed expectations, unexamined beliefs. An invincible person does not escape loneliness. He listens to it. Loneliness may reveal that you seek approval because you doubt worth, that you fear silence because you avoid truth, that you chase relationships to avoid responsibility. These realizations are not punishments. They are insights. Loneliness teaches self-honesty. Once you face yourself honestly, loneliness loses power over you. Building inner companionship. The most important relationship you will ever have is the one with yourself. If that relationship is hostile, loneliness becomes torture. If it is respectful, solitude becomes strength. An invincible person becomes his own stable presence. He speaks to himself with firmness and compassion. He holds himself accountable without cruelty. He encourages himself without delusion. Self-talk becomes leadership. Instead of "I am not enough," he says, "I am learning." Instead of "I am alone," he says, "I am growing." Instead of "I am lost," he says, "I am exploring." Language shapes inner companionship. When you trust yourself, you no longer feel abandoned in silence. Emotional independence. Emotional independence does not mean rejecting support. It means not collapsing without it. An emotionally independent person can receive love without begging for it, can lose connection without losing identity. This independence creates attractive presence. People feel safe around those who are not desperate. An invincible person does not chase attachment. He builds alignment. Connection follows naturally. Clinging repels. Stability attracts. The discipline of inner order. Loneliness becomes destructive when inner life is chaotic. An invincible person creates inner order. He reflects regularly. Writes, thinks, meditates, walks, observes. He understands his patterns, triggers, and tendencies. Self-mastery is familiarity with your own psychology. When you understand your mind, you stop being surprised by it. Order inside creates calm outside. Loneliness and purpose. Loneliness often appears when purpose is unclear. When you are aligned with meaningful direction, solitude feels productive, not painful. An invincible person anchors identity in purpose, not popularity. He asks, "What am I building?" rather than "Who is watching?" Purpose provides companionship. It fills silence with intention. A person working toward a meaningful goal rarely feels empty in solitude. His effort keeps him company. Purpose transforms loneliness into focus. The courage to walk alone. Many paths require walking alone for a period. Growth separates before it connects. Transformation isolates before it integrates. An invincible person accepts seasons of separation. He does not abandon his direction to maintain comfort. Those who walk alone for growth often lead later with wisdom. Temporary loneliness often precedes lasting contribution. Do not fear being ahead of your environment. Boundaries and self-respect. Loneliness teaches boundaries. When you value your presence, you no longer tolerate disrespect to avoid emptiness. An invincible person would rather be alone than compromised. This self-respect attracts healthier connections. Boundaries are not walls. They are standards. They protect energy, dignity, and direction. Inner completeness. Completeness does not mean you need nothing from others. It means you are not incomplete without them. An invincible person shares life rather than filling a void. This creates balanced relationships, not dependent ones. Two complete individuals create harmony. Two incomplete individuals create struggle. Completeness is inner stability. When you feel complete alone, you choose connection freely, not fearfully. The silent strength. Loneliness builds quiet strength, strength that does not need announcement, validation, display. This strength remains when applause fades. It is the strength of self-knowledge, self-trust, and self-leadership. Few possess it, because few remain still long enough to develop it. But those who do become unshakable. From loneliness to leadership. Those who master solitude often lead with depth. They listen better, react less, decide wisely. They do not need constant agreement. They are comfortable with responsibility. Leadership grows from inner completeness. You cannot guide others if you cannot sit with yourself. Loneliness mastered becomes authority. The invincible state. When you can be alone without fear, silent without anxiety, and present without validation, you become internally free. This freedom is invincibility. Not because nothing can hurt you, but because nothing can empty you. Loneliness no longer threatens you. It strengthens you. Chapter 5. Confidence, presence, and the formation of self-belief. Confidence is often misunderstood as performance. Many assume it is loud speech, quick, answers, dominant posture, or visible certainty. In reality, confidence is not something you show. It is something you carry. It is the quiet agreement you have with yourself about who you are and how you will behave regardless of circumstances. True confidence does not need to convince. It does not need constant proof. It is steady because it is rooted in self-belief rather than external reaction. This chapter is not about appearing confident. It is about becoming grounded enough that confidence emerges naturally. The origin of confidence. Confidence is not inherited, and it is not a personality type. It is the result of repeated evidence given to oneself over time. Every time you act according to your values, you deposit into self-belief. Every time you avoid responsibility, you withdraw from it. Confidence grows when behavior aligns with intention. A person who promises himself discipline and follows through becomes confident, not because success is guaranteed, but because reliability is proven. Another person who talks but avoids action slowly loses belief in himself, even if circumstances appear favorable. Confidence is not built by winning. It is built by showing up honestly. Many people try to borrow confidence from praise, status, or appearance. These sources are unstable. When praise fades, confidence collapses. When status changes, insecurity rises. An invincible person builds confidence internally by controlling effort, integrity, and consistency. Presence as power. Presence is the ability to be fully engaged with the moment without distraction, internal noise, or self-judgment. Most people are physically present but mentally elsewhere. They rehearse responses, worry about perception, or escape discomfort through thought. Presence creates authority without force. When a person listens, fully speaks deliberately, and moves calmly, others feel it. Presence communicates confidence more effectively than words. An invincible person trains presence through attention. He listens without interrupting. He pauses before responding. He does not rush to fill silence. He observes before acting. These behaviors are not techniques. They are expressions of inner stability. A leader who speaks slowly and clearly often commands more respect than one who speaks frequently. A professional who listens carefully often appears more capable than one who constantly explains. Presence signals self-trust. The role of competence. Confidence without competence is arrogance. Competence without confidence remains invisible. True confidence grows when skill and preparation meet experience. An invincible person respects mastery. He studies, practices, trains, and refines his abilities quietly. He does not rely on hope. He relies on preparation. A surgeon is confident not because he feels brave, but because he has trained extensively. A pilot remains calm not because he lacks fear, but because he understands systems deeply. Competence reduces anxiety. Skill stabilizes belief. If you want confidence, build skill. If you want belief, earn it. The difference between self-belief and ego. Ego is fragile. Self-belief is stable. Ego depends on comparison. Self-belief depends on alignment. Ego needs superiority. Self-belief needs integrity. An invincible person does not compare himself obsessively. He compares his actions to his standards. He does not ask, "Am I better than others?" He asks, "Am I acting according to who I want to be?" This internal reference creates durability. When criticism comes, ego collapses or reacts aggressively. Self-belief listens, evaluates, and adjusts if needed. Confidence rooted in ego is loud and defensive. Confidence rooted in self-belief is calm and receptive. Handling doubt. Doubt is not weakness, it is awareness without resolution. Every thoughtful person experiences doubt. What separates the invincible from the fragile is response. An invincible person does not panic at doubt. He investigates it. Is the doubt pointing to lack of preparation, unclear values, unrealistic expectation, external pressure? Once identified, doubt becomes guidance, not paralysis. Ignoring doubt creates blind confidence which fails quickly. Studying doubt creates informed confidence which endures. Self-belief does not require absence of doubt. It requires the ability to move despite it. Confidence in uncertainty. Life rarely offers certainty. Waiting for certainty delays action. An invincible person acts responsibly within uncertainty. He gathers information, prepares reasonably, and proceeds without perfection. Confidence in uncertainty is not recklessness. It is acceptance that learning occurs during movement. A business owner never has full certainty. A researcher never has complete data. A leader never has total control. They move anyway. Confidence grows when you prove to yourself that uncertainty does not stop you. The relationship between confidence and boundaries. Confidence strengthens when boundaries are respected. Every time you tolerate disrespect, you weaken self-belief. Every time you say no when necessary, you reinforce it. An invincible person does not seek conflict, but does not avoid it at the cost of dignity. Boundaries communicate self-value without explanation. You do not need to justify standards. You only need to maintain them. Presence increases when boundaries are clear. Confidence and humility. True confidence allows humility. A confident person admits limits, asks questions, and seeks improvement without shame. An insecure person pretends to know, hides mistakes, and avoids feedback. An invincible person remains a student. He understands that growth does not threaten confidence. It deepens it. Humility is not self-denial, it is self-accuracy. Accurate self-understanding creates calm confidence. The danger of external comparison. Comparison is a natural human tendency. Left unchecked, it erodes self-belief. An invincible person limits comparison. He understands that different paths, timelines, and contexts distort comparison. He measures progress against personal benchmarks. Who am I becoming? What am I improving? What am I learning? This inward orientation protects confidence from unnecessary volatility. External comparison creates anxiety. Internal evaluation creates stability. Confidence through consistency. Confidence is not built in moments of inspiration, it is built in patterns. Consistent sleep, consistent effort, consistent reflection, consistent ethics. Small repeated behaviors shape identity. An invincible person does not seek dramatic transformation. He seeks dependable rhythm. Over time, rhythm becomes character. Character becomes confidence. Handling praise and criticism. Praise can inflate ego. Criticism can damage belief. Both are tests. An invincible person receives praise without attachment and criticism without collapse. He appreciates positive feedback without dependency. He evaluates negative feedback without defensiveness. He filters both through values. Does this align with who I am becoming? If yes, he integrates. If not, he releases. This filtering protects inner stability. The quiet nature of confidence. True confidence does not announce itself. It does not need constant explanation. It does not rush to impress. It shows up in posture, tone, timing, and restraint. People often sense confidence before they understand it. It is the calm in decision-making, the patience in listening, the clarity in speech. This confidence is built, not displayed. The integration of belief. Self-belief becomes powerful when thought, behavior, and emotion align. What you believe about yourself must be supported by how you act and how you speak internally. An invincible person aligns these elements intentionally. He does not lie to himself. He does not exaggerate ability. He does not deny potential. He builds belief through honesty and effort. This belief becomes unshakable because it is earned. Confidence as a byproduct. Confidence is not the goal, it is the result. When you live with discipline, integrity, skill, and presence, confidence emerges naturally. Chasing confidence directly often leads to imitation. Building character leads to authenticity. An invincible person focuses on becoming reliable within himself. Confidence follows quietly. This is the confidence that does not fade under pressure, does not disappear with criticism, and does not depend on applause. It is the confidence of self-trust. Chapter 6. Purpose, Direction, and the Architecture of an Unshakable Life. Purpose is not a motivational slogan. It is a structural element of a stable life. When purpose is absent, effort feels heavy, and suffering feels meaningless. When purpose is clear, difficulty becomes tolerable and even necessary. An invincible life is not free from struggle. It is anchored in direction. Many people confuse purpose with passion. Passion is emotional and fluctuates. Purpose is steady and durable. Passion can ignite action, but purpose sustains it. Purpose answers one essential question: why do I continue when it is difficult? Without a clear answer, strength eventually collapses. Understanding purpose. Purpose is not always dramatic. It is not reserved for exceptional people. Purpose is the reason behind consistent effort. It is the meaning you assign to your work, your discipline, your sacrifice. Some people discover purpose early. Others develop it gradually. Many misunderstand it entirely. Purpose is not a job title. It is not public recognition. It is not comparison. Purpose is alignment between values and action. An invincible person does not wait for purpose to appear fully formed. He refines it through reflection, experience, and responsibility. Direction before motivation. Motivation follows clarity. Confusion drains energy. Many people feel unmotivated not because they are weak, but because they lack direction. They wake without a reason to commit fully. An invincible person clarifies direction even when motivation is low. Direction provides structure. It narrows choices. It reduces distraction. When you know where you are going, decisions become simpler. Direction does not require certainty. It requires commitment. You can adjust direction as you grow. What weakens people is drifting without intention. Purpose creates endurance. Endurance is not physical alone. It is psychological. People endure hardship when they believe it serves something meaningful. A parent works long hours, not because it is easy, but because responsibility gives meaning. A student studies despite fatigue because education aligns with future vision. A professional maintains ethics despite pressure because integrity defines purpose. An invincible person connects effort to meaning. Without meaning, discomfort feels pointless. With meaning, discomfort feels necessary. Purpose transforms pain into contribution. Living with intention. An unintentional life reacts. An intentional life responds. An invincible person lives deliberately. He chooses routines intentionally. He selects commitments carefully. He limits distraction consciously. He does not let urgency replace importance. Intentional living reduces regret. Each day may not feel significant, but intention compounds. Purpose does not require perfection. It requires presence. The danger of borrowed purpose. Many people adopt purpose from others. Society, family, culture, trends. This borrowed purpose often collapses under pressure. An invincible person questions inherited expectations. Is this truly meaningful to me? Does this align with my values? Am I living to impress or to express? Borrowed purpose creates internal conflict. Authentic purpose creates coherence. Authenticity strengthens resilience. Purpose and responsibility. Purpose deepens through responsibility. Avoiding responsibility weakens purpose. Accepting responsibility strengthens identity. An invincible person does not wait for ideal conditions to serve meaning. He begins where he is. Responsibility brings weight, but also clarity. When something depends on you, excuses disappear. Purpose grows when you become useful. Purpose is not found through comfort. It is built through contribution. The relationship between purpose and suffering. A life without suffering is unrealistic. A life without purpose is unbearable. Purpose does not eliminate suffering. It contextualizes it. An invincible person understands that meaningful paths involve sacrifice. Growth costs comfort. Integrity costs convenience. Contribution costs ease. Purpose provides a reason to accept the cost. Suffering without purpose creates bitterness. Suffering with purpose creates strength. The long view. Purpose requires long-term thinking. An invincible person considers future consequences. He resists short-term relief that compromises long-term direction. This long view protects against impulsive decisions. Many failures are not caused by lack of intelligence, but by lack of patience. Purpose teaches patience, building a life that cannot be shaken. An unshakable life is built on aligned foundations. Values guide decisions. Discipline supports action. Purpose sustains effort. Remove any one element and stability weakens. An invincible person reinforces all three consistently. He revisits values. He maintains discipline. He refines purpose. This alignment creates internal coherence. When internal systems are aligned, external chaos loses power. Purpose and identity. Purpose shapes identity. You become what you repeatedly move toward. An invincible person identifies with direction, not outcome. I am becoming someone who serves, learns, builds, protects, creates. This identity persists even when results fluctuate. When identity is tied to outcomes, failure becomes threatening. When identity is tied to purpose, failure becomes informative. Purpose stabilizes identity. Contribution over recognition. An invincible person values contribution more than recognition. Recognition is unpredictable. Contribution is controllable. This focus protects against disappointment. You can control effort, integrity, and service. You cannot control applause. A purpose-centered life measures success by impact, not attention. This creates quiet satisfaction. Recalibrating purpose. Purpose is not static. It evolves with awareness. An invincible person reflects periodically. Is this still meaningful? Is this still aligned? What needs adjustment? Recalibration prevents stagnation. Changing direction is not failure if done consciously. Growth often requires course correction. Purpose and peace. Purpose creates peace not because life becomes easy, but because life becomes meaningful. Peace is not absence of challenge, it is absence of internal conflict. When your actions align with your values and direction, inattention reduces. An invincible person experiences calm even during difficulty because he knows why he continues. Purpose provides inner stability. Legacy thinking. An invincible person considers legacy not in terms of fame, but influence. How did I treat people? What did I build? What did I contribute? What values did I model? Legacy thinking encourages ethical behavior. It shifts focus from immediate gratification to lasting impact. Purpose extends beyond the self. Daily alignment. Purpose is lived daily, not declared once. Small choices reinforce or weaken direction. An invincible person asks daily, does this move me closer to who I want to become? This question guides behavior quietly. Purpose is practiced when direction is clear, strength multiplies. The centered life. A centered life does not mean rigid. It means grounded. An invincible person adapts without losing core. Change does not threaten him because values anchor him. He bends without breaking. This centeredness is the result of purpose integrated with action. Purpose is not excitement. It is orientation. When you know where you stand, storms do not displace you. The state of invincibility. Invincibility is not domination. It is stability. It is the ability to remain aligned under pressure, consistent under uncertainty, and meaningful under strain. Purpose makes this possible. When you know why you endure, you can endure almost anything. This is the architecture of an unshakable life. Chapter 7. Integrity, self-control, and moral strength in a compromised world. Integrity is not an abstract virtue reserved for ideal conditions. It is a practical discipline exercised under pressure, temptation, and uncertainty. In a world where shortcuts are normalized and compromise is rewarded, integrity becomes a form of strength. It stabilizes identity when circumstances invite erosion. An invincible life depends on integrity not because it guarantees success, but because it preserves coherence. When actions contradict values, internal conflict emerges. Energy leaks through guilt, anxiety, and self-distrust. Integrity seals those leaks. Integrity is the alignment between belief, speech, and behavior over time. The nature of integrity. Integrity is often misunderstood as perfection. It is not. Integrity does not mean never failing. It means responding to failure with honesty, correction, and responsibility. An invincible person does not pretend to be flawless. He commits to being truthful. Integrity begins privately. What you do when unobserved forms character. Public behavior reflects private standards eventually. Many people maintain integrity only when consequences are visible. Invincible individuals maintain it when consequences are delayed or absent. Integrity is internal law. Self-control is freedom. Self-control is not repression, it is direction. A person without self-control is controlled by impulse. Mood, appetite, fear, desire, distraction. This creates instability. An invincible person governs impulse rather than obeying it. Self-control creates freedom by reducing regret. When you trust yourself to act according to values, you move through life with less fear of self-sabotage. Freedom without self-control becomes chaos. Control without freedom becomes rigidity. Balance creates power, the temptation to compromise. Every environment presents temptation. To exaggerate. To avoid responsibility. To choose convenience over correctness. To gain short-term advantage at long-term cost. Compromise often appears reasonable. It whispers that everyone does it. That consequences are minimal. That circumstances justify behavior. An invincible person recognizes this voice. He understands that small compromises rarely remain small. They accumulate quietly until identity erodes. The cost of compromise is not immediate punishment, it is gradual self-distrust. Once you begin negotiating values, confidence weakens. Integrity is self-respect. Integrity is a form of self-respect. When you keep commitments, you trust yourself. When you speak honestly, you respect your own voice. When you act ethically, you preserve dignity. An invincible person values internal respect over external approval. Approval fluctuates. Self-respect sustains. Choosing integrity may cost opportunities, popularity, or ease. It always protects identity. That protection is priceless. The discipline of restraint. Restraint is a misunderstood strength. Many associate it with denial. In reality, restraint preserves energy and clarity. An invincible person practices restraint in speech, emotion, consumption, and reaction. He does not speak everything he thinks. He does not act on every urge. He does not react to every provocation. This restraint creates authority. A person who cannot restrain himself cannot be trusted with power. Restraint is preparation for responsibility. Moral clarity under pressure. Pressure tests morality. When stakes rise, values are challenged. An invincible person prepares for pressure by clarifying principles beforehand. What will I not do even if it benefits me? What lines will I not cross even if others do? These decisions made in calm moments protect behavior in stressful ones. Moral clarity reduces hesitation. When principles are clear, action becomes decisive. The relationship between integrity and confidence. Integrity strengthens confidence. When your actions align with values, you experience internal consistency. This consistency creates calm presence. Inconsistency creates anxiety. You worry about exposure, contradiction, and memory. An invincible person speaks simply because truth requires no maintenance. Confidence rooted in integrity does not depend on manipulation or impression. It is stable. Self-control and emotional regulation. Emotions challenge self-control. Anger invites reaction. Desire invites indulgence. Fear invites avoidance. An invincible person does not deny emotion. He regulates response. He creates space between feeling and action. This space is self-control. Within that space, values guide behavior. Without that space, impulse dominates. Emotional regulation is moral strength. Integrity in relationships. Integrity shapes relationships. An invincible person communicates honestly, keeps boundaries, respects commitments. He does not manipulate for advantage. He does not mislead for comfort. This approach may limit superficial connections, but strengthens meaningful ones. Trust grows where integrity is present. Trust once broken is difficult to restore. Integrity protects relationships by protecting truth. The courage to be disliked. Integrity often invites resistance. When you refuse to compromise, others may feel threatened. When you set boundaries, others may feel rejected. When you speak truth, others may feel exposed. An invincible person accepts this cost. He does not seek conflict, but does not sacrifice values for comfort. Being disliked for integrity is less damaging than being respected for deception. This courage strengthens inner authority. Consistency over convenience. Integrity demands consistency. It requires acting the same under observation and privacy, under reward and risk. An invincible person resists convenience that contradicts values. He understands that convenience fades, but consequences remain. Short-term ease often leads to long-term complexity. Integrity simplifies life. When you act consistently, you reduce internal negotiation. Self-control in consumption. Consumption shapes character. What you consume mentally, emotionally, physically influences behavior. An invincible person exercises discipline in consumption. He limits content that distorts values. He moderates indulgence. He chooses nourishment over stimulation. This discipline preserves clarity. Overconsumption weakens restraint. Self-control begins with awareness. Integrity and leadership. Leadership without integrity is manipulation. An invincible leader leads by example. He does not demand standards he does not practice. Integrity gives authority without force. People follow those they trust. Trust grows from consistency. Integrity is leadership foundation. The internal witness. Every person carries an internal witness. This witness observes choices, evaluates behavior, and records integrity. Ignoring this witness creates dissonance. Listening to it creates alignment. An invincible person respects his internal witness. He does not silence conscience. He refines it. This internal accountability creates freedom from external fear. When you know you acted correctly, you sleep peacefully. Integrity and peace. Peace is not comfort, it is alignment. When behavior matches belief, inner conflict dissolves. An invincible person experiences peace not because life is easy, but because conscience is clear. This peace is resilient. It does not depend on praise. It survives difficulty. The slow reward of integrity. Integrity does not always reward immediately. Often it delays gratification, but over time it builds reputation, trust, and self-respect. The reward of integrity is not always visible, but always felt. It accumulates quietly. A life built on integrity may progress slowly, but it rarely collapses. The invincible standard. An invincible person sets standards internally. He does not outsource morality to trends, pressure, or convenience. He chooses consciously, repeatedly. This choice becomes identity. Integrity is not a moment. It is a pattern. Self-control is not suppression. It is leadership. Moral strength is not rigidity. It is clarity. Together they form invincibility. When you cannot be bribed by comfort or broken by pressure, you become stable. That stability is rare. That rarity is power. Chapter 8. Resilience, Patience, and Mastery of Time. Resilience is often described as the ability to recover quickly from difficulty. This definition is incomplete. True resilience is not speed alone. It is continuity. It is the capacity to remain engaged with life without hardening, becoming bitter, or abandoning direction. An invincible person does not simply bounce back. He stays present while moving forward. Patience is the silent partner of resilience. Without patience, resilience collapses into aggression. Without resilience, patience collapses into passivity. Together, they create endurance. Time is the environment in which both are tested. Understanding resilience. Resilience is not denial of pain. It is relationship with pain. An invincible person allows difficulty to exist without letting it define identity. He does not rush recovery to appear strong. He does not dramatize struggle to gain sympathy. He accepts reality as it is and responds deliberately. Resilience grows through honest exposure. Avoidance weakens resilience. Engagement strengthens it. A person who avoids challenge becomes fragile. A person who faces challenge gradually becomes stable. Resilience is built through repeated survival. Every time you endure without collapsing, your nervous system learns that difficulty is survivable. This learning accumulates. Over time, fear loses authority. Patience as discipline. Patience is often mistaken for waiting. In reality, patience is disciplined engagement without immediate reward. An invincible person does not wait passively. He works steadily while outcomes mature. Patience is action without urgency. Many people abandon effort because results do not arrive quickly. They confuse delay with failure. Growth often occurs beneath visibility. A tree does not rush its roots. A craftsman does not hurry precision. A mind does not mature instantly. Patience respects process. Impatience sacrifices quality for speed and depth for appearance. An invincible person understands that lasting results require time. The psychological cost of rushing. Rushing creates anxiety. Anxiety distorts judgment. When you rush, you compromise standards, overlook details, and react emotionally. You trade long-term stability for short-term relief. An invincible person resists this trade. He allows processes to unfold. He accepts discomfort without impulsive action. This restraint protects outcomes. Rushing often produces regret. Patience produces alignment. Time as an ally. Many view time as an enemy. Aging, deadlines, uncertainty. An invincible person treats time as an ally. Time reveals truth. Time rewards consistency. Time exposes shortcuts. If you act with integrity, time works for you. If you rely on deception, time works against you. Time magnifies behavior. Small habits compound. Small compromises accumulate. An invincible person invests in actions that benefit from time. Learning compounds. Discipline compounds. Trust compounds. Time rewards patience because patience allows compounding to occur. Resilience through acceptance. Acceptance does not mean approval, it means clarity. An invincible person accepts reality without resistance. Resistance wastes energy. Acceptance redirects it. You cannot change what you refuse to see. Acceptance creates calm. Calm allows strategy. A person facing illness accepts condition, then adapts lifestyle. A person facing loss accepts grief, then rebuilds meaning. Acceptance begins recovery. Without acceptance, suffering intensifies. The long game. Invincibility is a long game. Short-term wins can be achieved through force, luck, or manipulation. Long-term stability requires resilience, patience, and alignment. An invincible person thinks in decades, not days. He does not abandon values for immediate gain. He does not panic at temporary setbacks. He remains consistent while others oscillate. Consistency outperforms intensity over time. The long game rewards those who stay. Resilience in uncertainty. Uncertainty is unavoidable. Plans fail. Timelines shift. Outcomes surprise. An invincible person builds flexibility, not rigidity. He prepares without attachment. Preparation increases confidence. Detachment reduces anxiety. When uncertainty appears, he adjusts without losing direction. He distinguishes between goal and method. Goals remain stable. Methods evolve. This adaptability strengthens resilience. Patience under provocation. Patience is tested most severely under provocation. Disrespect, delay, misunderstanding, injustice. An invincible person does not confuse patience with submission. He chooses response deliberately. He knows when to wait and when to act. Patience without awareness becomes weakness. Awareness without patience becomes aggression. Balance creates authority. The ability to pause before reaction is mastery. This pause protects dignity. Time and emotional regulation. Strong emotions distort perception of time. Fear accelerates it. Anger compresses it. Desire rushes it. An invincible person regulates emotion to regulate time perception. He slows internal tempo. This slowing improves decision-making. Calm lengthens perspective. When perspective lengthens, impulsivity decreases. Patience grows. Resilience and identity continuity. Resilience protects identity. When circumstances change, many people lose sense of self. Job loss, status change, aging, failure. An invincible person anchors identity in values, not roles. Roles change, values endure. This continuity preserves stability. Resilience allows you to remain yourself while evolving. You adapt without dissolving. Patience and learning. Learning requires patience. Complex skills develop slowly. Understanding deepens gradually. An invincible person allows ignorance without shame. He studies consistently without demanding immediate mastery. This humility accelerates growth. Rushing learning creates superficial knowledge. Patience creates depth. Depth creates confidence. The burden of expectation. Expectation creates pressure. Pressure can motivate or paralyze. An invincible person manages expectation consciously. He sets standards without demanding instant fulfillment. He allows progress without perfection. Expectation aligned with patience becomes aspiration. Expectation without patience becomes anxiety. Managing expectation preserves mental health. Resilience after failure. Failure tests resilience most honestly. An invincible person does not dramatize failure. He evaluates calmly. What worked? What did not? What must change? Failure becomes instruction, not condemnation. Patience allows recovery without identity collapse. Resilience allows continuation without bitterness. Together they convert failure into refinement. Time and meaning. Meaning unfolds over time. Immediate experiences rarely reveal full significance. An invincible person trusts delayed understanding. He does not rush meaning. He allows life to explain itself gradually. This trust reduces existential anxiety. Time reveals coherence. The patient mind sees patterns others miss. Sustainable ambition. Ambition without patience burns out. An invincible person holds ambition within resilience. He moves forward steadily without self-destruction. He rests strategically, reflects regularly, adjusts intelligently. Sustainability preserves longevity. Longevity multiplies impact. Resilience is not endless force, it is intelligent endurance. Patience with self. Self-patience is essential. Growth includes regression, confusion, doubt. An invincible person does not shame himself for imperfection. He holds himself accountable without cruelty. This balance maintains motivation. Harshness breaks resilience. Compassion without discipline weakens it. Balanced self-patience strengthens it. Time as a mirror. Time reflects truth. You cannot fake discipline over time. You cannot pretend integrity indefinitely. You cannot hide inconsistency forever. An invincible person aligns behavior knowing time will reveal it. This awareness encourages authenticity. When you are aligned, you do not fear time. Time becomes confirmation. The steady life. A steady life may appear uneventful, but it builds quietly. Resilience maintains engagement. Patience maintains direction. Over years, stability compounds. While others burn brightly, then fade, the invincible endure. Endurance outlasts brilliance. The mastery of waiting. Waiting is inevitable. Waiting for opportunity, healing, clarity, outcome. An invincible person waits actively. He prepares while waiting. He strengthens foundations while waiting. Waiting becomes training. Impatience wastes waiting. Patience uses it. The invincible rhythm. Invincibility has rhythm. Effort and rest, action and reflection, movement and pause. Ignoring rhythm leads to exhaustion. Respecting rhythm sustains strength. An invincible person listens to internal signals. He adjusts pace without abandoning direction. This rhythm aligns with time. Final integration. Resilience keeps you standing. Patience keeps you moving. Time shapes both. Together they form durability. An invincible life is not rushed. It is rooted. It moves steadily regardless of noise. It endures without hardening. It waits without weakening. Mastery of time is not control. It is cooperation. When you stop fighting time and start aligning with it, strength becomes sustainable. This is the resilience that lasts. Chapter 9. Wisdom, decision-making and clarity in a noisy world. Wisdom is not the accumulation of information. It is the ability to see clearly when information overwhelms. In an age of constant input, opinion, speed and reaction, clarity has become rare. Noise dominates attention. Urgency replaces understanding. Many decisions are made quickly, but few are made well. An invincible person does not seek to know everything. He seeks to understand what matters. Wisdom is restraint in judgment, patience in evaluation, and humility in certainty. It develops slowly through reflection, experience, and consequence. This chapter examines how clarity is formed, how decisions mature, and how wisdom protects life from unnecessary damage. The nature of wisdom. Wisdom is practical understanding, shaped by time and reflection. It integrates knowledge, emotion, values, and context. Intelligence processes data. Wisdom interprets meaning. A highly intelligent person may make reckless decisions. A wise person may act slowly, but accurately. Wisdom asks different questions. What are the consequences? What is the timing? What aligns with values? What is missing? An invincible person prioritizes these questions before action. Wisdom does not rush because it respects complexity. The danger of noise. Noise fragments attention. News, opinions, social media, constant alerts, endless advice. This environment pressures quick reactions and superficial certainty. Noise creates the illusion of knowledge without depth. An invincible person limits exposure intentionally. He understands that constant input weakens judgment. Clarity requires silence. Silence allows integration. Integration produces insight. Without silence, thought becomes reactive. A mind flooded with noise confuses urgency with importance. The discipline of thinking. Thinking is a skill. It requires structure. An invincible person does not outsource thinking to trends or authority. He reflects deliberately. He separates facts from interpretation, emotion from evidence, desire from necessity. This separation reduces bias. He asks what is actually happening rather than what feels urgent. Thinking before deciding prevents regret. The pause before action is wisdom in motion. Decision-making under uncertainty. Most decisions are made without complete information. Waiting for certainty delays life. An invincible person learns to decide responsibly under uncertainty. He gathers relevant information, not endless information. He identifies what matters most. He accepts risk without panic. He chooses the best available option rather than the perfect one. Perfectionism paralyzes. Wisdom moves carefully. After deciding, he commits fully. Doubt after commitment weakens execution. Decision-making is not prediction, it is responsibility. Values as compass. When information conflicts, values guide. An invincible person clarifies values early. When choices confuse him, values simplify them. What aligns with integrity? What preserves dignity? What protects long-term stability? Values reduce complexity. They act as compass when maps fail. Without values, decision-making becomes opportunistic. Opportunism may succeed temporarily, but collapses trust. Values protect identity during uncertainty. The difference between impulse and intuition. Impulse is immediate emotional reaction. Intuition is pattern recognition shaped by experience. Many confuse impulse with intuition. An invincible person learns the difference. Impulse demands immediate action. Intuition suggests but allows reflection. Impulse is loud. Intuition is quiet. Impulse seeks relief. Intuition seeks alignment. To develop intuition, one must slow down. A calm mind hears intuition. A restless mind obeys impulse. Wisdom listens without rushing, learning from consequence. Every decision produces consequence. Wise people study consequence. They do not avoid responsibility by blaming circumstances. They ask, what did this teach? What pattern repeats? What assumption failed? This reflection refines future judgment. An invincible person treats mistakes as education. He does not defend poor decisions. He corrects them. Learning accelerates wisdom. Ignoring consequence repeats error. Clarity through simplicity. Complexity often hides confusion. An invincible person simplifies. He removes unnecessary commitments. Reduces options. Clarifies priorities. Simplicity reveals truth. When life is cluttered, clarity disappears. Reducing noise reveals signal. Simplicity does not mean reduction of ambition. It means precision of focus. A clear life is not empty. It is intentional. The role of patience in wisdom. Wisdom respects timing. Not every truth needs immediate expression. Not every opportunity needs immediate action. An invincible person understands that timing determines outcome. The right action at the wrong time fails. Patience allows conditions to mature. Wisdom waits without passivity. It observes momentum. It senses readiness. Rushing wisdom creates damage. Fear-based decisions. Fear distorts judgment. Fear narrows vision, exaggerates threat, and rushes response. An invincible person recognizes fear without obeying it. He asks, is this danger real or imagined? Is this discomfort or risk? What happens if I wait? Fear loses authority under examination. Wisdom does not eliminate fear, it contextualizes it. Decisions made to escape fear often create larger problems. Decisions made with fear acknowledged but managed create stability. Clarity in relationships. Relationships demand constant decisions. Whom to trust, when to speak, when to distance. An invincible person applies wisdom to connection. He observes behavior over time rather than words. He values consistency over charm. He sets boundaries calmly. He does not confuse familiarity with loyalty. Wisdom in relationships protects energy. It prevents unnecessary entanglement. It chooses depth over quantity. Clarity reduces emotional exhaustion, decision fatigue, and mental hygiene. Too many decisions weaken judgment. An invincible person structures life to reduce trivial decisions. Routine preserves mental energy. He automates basics to protect focus for meaningful choices. Mental hygiene includes rest, reflection, and limitation of distraction. A tired mind makes poor decisions. Wisdom respects recovery. Clarity requires capacity. The courage to say no. Wisdom often appears as refusal. An invincible person says no to preserve yes. He declines opportunities that conflict with values, direction, or capacity. He does not explain excessively. No is a complete sentence when clarity exists. Saying no reduces regret. Overcommitment dilutes effectiveness. Wisdom prioritizes quality. Ambiguity tolerance. Life contains ambiguity. Not everything will resolve clearly. An invincible person tolerates ambiguity without anxiety. He does not force certainty prematurely. He allows questions to remain open. This tolerance prevents rigid thinking. Rigid thinking fails under change. Flexibility supports wisdom. The wise mind adapts without losing center. Perspective and distance. Distance creates perspective. An invincible person steps back before judging. He asks how this will matter in a year, 5 years, a decade. Many problems shrink under distance. Perspective calms emotion. Calm improves judgment. Distance does not mean indifference. It means proportion. Wisdom sees scale. Learning from others without imitation. An invincible person studies others. He observes success and failure. But he does not imitate blindly. Context differs, values differ, capacity differs. He extracts principles, not patterns. Principles adapt, patterns copy. Wisdom understands difference. Comparison distorts clarity, learning refines it. The cost of certainty. False certainty is dangerous. People who are too certain stop listening. An invincible person remains open. He holds beliefs strongly but revisable. He distinguishes confidence from rigidity. Rigidity breaks under reality. Adaptable confidence endures. Wisdom includes doubt. Doubt invites examination. Examination strengthens understanding. Clarity is calm. Clarity feels calm. Confusion feels urgent. An invincible person trusts calm. When calm accompanies a decision, it often aligns. When urgency dominates, clarity is missing. He delays action when calm is absent, unless danger requires immediacy. Calm protects judgment. Calm is cultivated through discipline, silence, and reflection. Wisdom and humility. Humility is the companion of wisdom. An invincible person knows the limits of his knowledge. He asks questions. He admits uncertainty. This humility prevents arrogance. Arrogance blinds. Humility sharpens perception. Wisdom grows where humility exists. Integration over accumulation. Wisdom integrates. It connects lessons across experiences. An invincible person reflects regularly. He connects patterns across years. He sees how decisions echo. This integration creates foresight. Foresight is wisdom applied. Without reflection, experience becomes repetition. Integration turns life into understanding. The quiet authority of wisdom. Wisdom does not demand attention. It influences quietly. Others sense stability. They seek counsel. They trust judgment. Wisdom earns authority without force. This authority cannot be faked. It emerges from consistency. Clarity is protection. Clarity protects from manipulation. Confused minds are easily led. An invincible person thinks independently. He verifies information. He questions incentives. He does not follow crowds blindly. Clarity preserves autonomy. Autonomy strengthens dignity. The wise life. A wise life is not perfect. It includes mistakes. But mistakes become fewer and less damaging. Decisions align with values. Energy is preserved. Regret decreases. Peace increases. Wisdom is not dramatic. It is stabilizing. In a noisy world, clarity is power. An invincible person cultivates this power deliberately. He chooses depth over speed, understanding over reaction, clarity over chaos. This clarity becomes a shield. Conclusion. The quiet power of invincibility. Invincibility is not a state you reach once and keep forever. It is a practice you return to daily. It is built through choices made in private moments when no one is watching and no one is applauding. It is shaped by how you respond to difficulty, not by how often you avoid it. Throughout this book, invincibility has been presented not as hardness, but as stability. Not as domination, but as self-command. The invincible individual is not untouched by pain, failure, or loss. He is defined by how little these experiences are allowed to distort his values, clarity, and direction. True invincibility begins with identity. When you know who you are not easily shaken by opinions, noise, or temporary outcomes. From identity comes discipline. From discipline comes consistency. From consistency comes trust in oneself. This trust becomes the foundation of confidence that does not require validation. Emotional mastery protects the mind. Silence protects energy. Patience protects timing. Wisdom protects decision-making. Boundaries protect dignity. Purpose protects endurance. Each of these elements works quietly together, forming a structure that holds under pressure. Life will test resolve. It will offer shortcuts, distractions, and excuses. The invincible person is not immune to temptation, but he is anchored by clarity. He understands that long-term strength is built through restraint and alignment rather than impulse and reaction. Invincibility does not remove struggle. It removes unnecessary struggle. It simplifies life by reducing internal conflict. When values guide decisions, energy stops leaking into regret and doubt. This way of living does not make you louder. It makes you steadier. Others may not immediately recognize it, but over time it becomes undeniable. Stability becomes influence. Consistency becomes authority. Character becomes legacy. To live invincibly is to live deliberately, to choose depth over noise, meaning over appearance, integrity over convenience. This is not a path for admiration, it is a path for self-respect, and self-respect once earned cannot be taken away. The art of being invincible is not about winning every battle, it is about remaining whole through every season. That is the quiet power. That is the art